Following the dramatic bout between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach Jr., which ended in a drawn bout and has since generated intense debates, calls for a rematch, and a flurry of opinions from fighters, fans, and analysts alike, the boxing world is still ablaze with controversy and excitement. With a crowd of 19,250, the fight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn set the setting for what many now believe will be an inevitable second chapter in this thrilling rivalry. The dispute centers on a crucial moment in the ninth round when Davis took a knee following a jab from Roach. Many people believe this should have been a knockdown, but referee Steve Willis's decision and the subsequent failure of instant replay review due to technical issues prevented it from being ruled that way. The psychological battle has already started, as seen by Roach's audacious entrance to Davis's training facility soon after the first bout, and the stakes have never been higher with the rematch now imminent. After considering the result, Roach was upset with the scorecards because he felt he had done enough to win even though the official result was a draw. Roach remarked, "Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown," after the fight. "I believe that I ought to have prevailed in a competitive bout. I believe I completed the necessary steps to take the rounds. The scorecards had me a little irritated. The event in the ninth round was a watershed for Roach and ought to have shifted the balance in his favor. Given that Davis's corner seemed to help him during the moment, an activity that, under stringent boxing rules, may have resulted in severe penalties, he questioned whether Davis's decision to take a knee justified a point deduction or possibly a disqualification. Citing the rules, Roach contended, if he took a knee and the corner went up and put a towel in his face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business. For his part, Davis admitted that a tie is disappointing, especially for a boxer who is renowned for his ability to knock opponents out. Nobody likes a draw, from a guy that gets knockouts and things like that, he stated. However, it's cool. If we fight again, I think I should have done more and could have done more. I couldn't keep track of the rounds, so we need, what's that called? The truth is, I had no idea what round it was. Another level of complexity is added to the story by Davis's admission that he lost concentration during the fight, implying that his performance might not have been as good as it could have been. Roach would probably use this as proof of his own superiority in the ring. Referee Steve Willis's choice to not declare Davis's knee a knockdown is at the center of the dispute surrounding the ninth round. As the battle progressed, Davis took a jab from Roach and went to the ground, retreating to his corner where his trainer seemed to be willing to help. Unless it is considered an accident, like as a slip, a boxer who takes a knee is usually counted as knocked down. Any aid from the corner during active action can result in penalties, including disqualification. But Willis paused, beginning a count for a moment, then halting and letting the fight go on without punishing Davis. The problem was made worse by a technical malfunction that stopped the New York State Athletic Commission from examining the video in time, even though the state allows for such checks. This resulted in two judges scoring the round 10-9 in Davis's favor. This decision kept the draw intact. Final scores were 114-114, 114-114, and 115-113 for Roach, but it angered Roach's camp and many onlookers. This choice has had immediate and severe repercussions. Terence Crawford and other prominent boxing professionals have claimed that Roach was denied a victory. As others like Ryan Garcia have said, "I never seen someone take a knee and they don't count it as a knockdown." Crawford echoed the same on X, calling it the most wild thing I've ever seen in boxing. Further casting doubt on the referee's moral character, Claressa Shields asked, "How much do they pay the referee?" This is absurd. According to seasoned trainer Jeff Mayweather, it was a definite knockdown according to boxing regulations. Once Tank did what he did, he started an 8 count but stopped in the middle of giving it, Mayweather stated. Then, without authorization, he let Tank's corner help him. During that fight, a few things went quite badly. For Roach, the incident served as confirmation of his fortitude. "I thought you struck a lot harder than this." Davis mocked him in a mid-fight argument, he recounted, to which Roach retorted, "Who are you to talk? I'm standing here staring at you, and you have a 90% knockout ratio." When he took in Davis's greatest shot and continued to fight, Roach thinks that was the pivotal moment. "Once I took his best shot, I thought, all right, it's time to get down and dirty," he continued. He realized he was in there with a guy who might be him that night, but by the end, he knew he's the star. If you don't knock him out, you ain't gonna get it. The controversy has raised questions about whether the officiating was affected by Davis's fame as a boxing champion. Gervonta analysts speculated that the referee's indulgence might have been influenced by Davis's power in the sport, his capacity to attract sizable crowds and bring in millions of dollars. There is no denying Davis's commercial appeal. His bout with Ryan Garcia in 2023 brought in 1.2 million buys and a $22.8 million gate, one of the highest in Nevada history, while his battle with Frank Martin in June 2024 generated 325,000 to 350,000 pay-per-view buys and a $14 million gate. The Roach bout itself achieved the second highest gate ever and set a new attendance record at Barclays Center. Ennis remarked, "Tank puts butts in the seats," raising the possibility that this effect could be the reason Willis didn't punish him more severely. Conversely, Davis provided an odd justification for taking the knee. His vision was blurred due to hair grease getting into his eyes. Although this could explain his behavior, it doesn't alter the regulations, and detractors contend it has no bearing on whether a takedown was warranted. While acknowledging the technical error that prevented a replay review, the New York State Athletic Commission has refrained from pledging to reverse the outcome. Though most people feel that this is improbable considering the precedent it would set and Davis's prominence in the sport, there is rising sentiment that the fight might be called a no contest. Giving Roach a 10-8 round in the 9th round retroactively wouldn't ensure victory because the fight's dynamics might have changed if the call had been made in real time. In the midst of the commotion, Roach made a shocking move that rocked the boxing world. He unexpectedly turned up at Davis's training facility, looking confident and wearing exercise gear. As Roach approached Davis, who was in the middle of a session, observers reported a tense environment. Roach's message was clear: the fight isn't done. The short, heated discussion, which swiftly went viral on social media, highlighted the personal stakes and heightened the rivalry. While pundits argued whether Roach might gain a psychological advantage, fans applauded his bold move, seeing it as a premeditated attempt to frighten Davis before a possible rematch. One commentator said it was an extension of their competitive spirit, while another described it as a strategic effort to disrupt Tank's focus. With Davis aiming for a rematch in late May 2025, a short turnaround reminiscent of his 2023 schedule, in which he fought twice in 3 months, both combatants are now demanding a rematch. Roach, who is bound by a rematch provision in his contract, stated that he is confident it will occur soon. "Everybody's still talking about the fight 5 days later. It's been a huge spectacle," he stated to Boxing Scene. "While the iron is hot, why not strike? I'll be prepared." Gilberto Mendoza, the president of the WBA, is also advocating for an instant rematch, pointing to the need to resolve the debate and public demand. "This supersedes the perception of boxing with a huge star involved," Mendoza stated. "We need to send a strong message." Roach thinks that by reversing the outcome and accounting for the knee, the corner help, and the absence of a knockdown call, justice would be done. If they count the knockdown that should have been a knockdown or consider that he turned his back and got help from his coach, that's unheard of without a disqualification. That's the right thing to do, he stated. If it doesn't happen, it's extra fuel to the fire. Davis, however, rejects accusations of a poor performance and continues to be combative. He remarked, "It was a good fight, man. Lamont arrived for combat. They are familiar with one another. I warned them it wouldn't be simple." Although there are disagreements throughout the boxing community, everyone agrees that Davis vs. Roach 2 is an event that should not be missed and might define the lightweight division. Joe Rogan described it as an amazing contest and expressed the desire that they run it back, but Canelo Alvarez and others have offered their opinions.